G'day friends, welcome to today's video. It's day 27 of MERMAY 2018. I'm feeling very relaxed. I know I said exactly the same thing last Sunday, but that's what this day is for, right? Day of rest. I came home from church with the roomie. Steve's at work today, so unfortunately he couldn't go with us, but the old roomie Danielle, it was so great to catch up with her. Do you guys remember when Danielle did the roomie does my voiceover, Tag Tuesday? We were reminiscing about that today, or maybe I was just in my head, but it always gives me a good giggle to think about that one. Anyway, I came home from church and there was a shawarma food truck just like parked in the apartment block car park, like future residence area. So I thought, well, when in home, so I got my lamb gyro, honestly don't know, but I had that and went into a food coma, passed out on the couch, and kind of fell asleep with the cats, and Bianca's snoring woke me up, and I thought, oh, I haven't done a voiceover for today's video. It's kind of just waiting here on the screen, ready to be voiceovered and uploaded. So it's okay. We're still on day 27, so I'm not too late, just later than normal. Either way, I'm showing you a piece that I end up scrapping. I'm showing you the starting of that. I do have a whole video of bloopers, if you will, mermaid bloopers, pieces that did not make it that I scrapped for whatever reason. I'm going to compile all of those at the end and give you hopefully a roast, a constructive roast. No, I'm just going to go through and tell you what did and didn't make it. Well, I mean, I guess none of them made it, but why I didn't let that be a piece for MERMAY, why I kind of nixed it and what the thought process behind it was. Some of them I got to this stage, some of them I coloured in, some of them were just sketches, some of them I fully finished and didn't include, and some of them I redid and still didn't include it. So I'll share with you a bunch of reasons as to why that happened. Today's, it was simply that I kind of screwed up the colouring. I wanted some textured colouring, but I didn't put down gesso or white acrylic base. And if you don't put a barrier between the substrate and those distress crayons, they're very staining. So they will hit the page where they land, and you'll only be able to spread out just the top part of pigment that hasn't already stained the page. If you use gesso, you'll be able to move around the whole thing and it'll be completely water reactive, but I didn't, so I kind of just over texturized it from the beginning. I knew how messy and muddy it would be. I knew there'd be no crisp details, and on an illustration that small, it doesn't make sense when you can't really discern features on the face. So I let that be what it was. It was sad because I liked the little sassy direction that she was heading in, but could always revisit another day if I felt like it. And I love what I came up with instead, so that was good too. She it looks like space. I'm just gonna go all out and say it's not space. It's space-esque. Let's just say it's underwater space. I might have less of a problem with underwater space. I don't want to get into space because I hate it that much, but I'm not actually afraid of the ocean. Isn't that bizarre? Because that's pretty expansive and we don't know what goes on down there, but I'm less afraid of like the open ocean than I am of space. I am petrified of space. I could watch a documentary about the open ocean, but I cannot watch it about space. So today maybe is just me trying to come to terms with space in my own way. Or maybe not. Maybe it was just a fun illustration that I had fun doing. But I'm going to leave you with that. I'm going to let you watch that unfold. I have a really quick topic of discussion today. I really don't need to spend too much time voiceovering, honestly, because I have other work that I should be doing. I've since moved my Etsy shipping days to Sunday. I used to do it on Friday, and then I would ship everything out on the Saturday. So Friday afternoon, Friday night, I would get it all done, and then on the Saturday I would ship it out. And then I kind of realized, well, the money kind of processes on the Monday, so I pay the fees by the Monday and make sure that whatever processes over is what I can use, and that I don't have to like back pay fees. Boring, I know, but that was one of the reasons I did it. I also thought, well, if I do it on the Saturday, then they can get a move on, like they can start being shipped out. The problem with that was that by Sunday, they were sitting wherever they were. So I thought, well, why don't I just do it on the Sunday then? I could do all the shipping on the Saturday, and but then I was rushing to do it on a Saturday, and then realized I couldn't do anything with them on the Sunday. So after trial and error, and me being an idiot, I just figured, do it all on Sunday, ship them out on Monday morning when the postmans are fresh, and everything will be fine and go out. So, and I'll be able to, do the bills and the fees and everything all at once on the Sunday night. So that's how it is. If you've ever wondered why, if you order on a Sunday or a Monday, heaven forbid, that you wait until the end of the week for that to be shipped, maybe just wait to shop until Friday and it'll seem like it comes sooner. But I have just reduced shipping to 1 day a week, even if it's a lot of orders. If it's a ton, I might add an extra day, just because it's a lot of work. I don't know how many people out there are Etsy sellers. I don't know how many people out there run an online retail of any kind, but e-commerce, it seems simple because it happens online, but you just don't realize the back end of it until you're sitting at your home and there's boxes and boxes of envelopes everywhere in 12 different sizes, and you've got tons of product. Like, I don't know what people do. Like, when I know that you have to hire kind of inventory space if you end up getting like big distribution chains of like massive amounts of stock. I learned that on Shark Tank. That you need warehousing, I think is the word. So I love Shark Tank. I think it teaches me a lot about modern day business. I wish I could be as ruthless as they are, though. They've got the they're sharks, right? That's why they're called sharks. Anyway, off topic. But today I'm going to give you a little bit of a chat. I don't know why I was on that tangent. Why I was on the Etsy tangent? Just to say that I need to wake up. Probably. I need to wake up because I need to do that, but I've also got other projects to be working on. I am merchandising MERMAY, so we're getting merchandise. I really tried hard on that one, so just please laugh if you didn't. I don't really mind. I'm trying to merchandise it, so I have a bunch of things that I'm currently working on. If you've been catching my Insta stories, you'll have seen what I'm about to talk about today as well, but also the trouble that I've had color correcting. I approached this earlier in the month, and I think even in a couple of my MERMAY videos I was talking about the printer and what it's like to scan on a flatbed and to scan fluorescent colors and color correction, etc, etc. So I'm currently at that point because I'm re-color correcting. It's one thing to do it for Instagram, you can kind of get away with it and there's filters and it's a small format so you don't really notice, but when I'm offering it at, at a good quality in a product, let's just say it, a book. When I'm offering it as a book, you want to make sure that it looks its best, that it you can present it in the light that you want it presented. So the color correction has to kind of be on point for that. So I'm just in the process of doing that with everything I can now and making some good leaps and bounds forward in that. I have a few other things that I'll release at a later date, but if you did catch my Insta story, or if you're on my Instagram today, you'll have seen the front cover for the book, which is actually not a piece that was done for MERMAY. I originally, when I did think about doing MERMAY, I thought I was just going to do it all in my journal, and I had ideas just that would work great for my journal, like mermaids swimming out of the spine, or I was also going to do like these cutouts and possibly a pop-up, and the page that I've ended up using for the front cover is actually one of the cutout ideas that I wanted to do. It's 5 pages, but I'm going to insert a photo on it on the screen right now just so you can see it if you haven't, but I think it's 5 consecutive pages, but each one I cut a border and kind of doodled on so that, each layer would reveal something underneath it, the layer underneath it, until you got to the mermaid. So she kind of looks like she's swimming behind all of these seaweeds, different kinds of seaweeds and underwater foliage. Anyway, I'm super taken with it, and then I kind of made this little belt to hold the pages together so I could flip through it easier, because they're very delicate. And I love that, but I also hate that about it. It's a great thing. I think it's so beautiful just to like tangibly, it's very beautiful. I love how delicate it is. I feel like I'm like a geisha just handling rice paper. It feels great. But at the same time, I think if anyone ever does flip through this book and doesn't know to be ready for that, this whole page could just rip out and be a mess. So I'll have to make sure that people know. I'll put a caution sign on that journal. But I love it. I love that. I loved the idea of it. I loved how it came out. I did it late one night when I was just super taken. And I guess what I want to talk about today is that journal in particular, because it is the Midori MD Paper 10th Anniversary Special Edition White Grid Notebook. Now, I've done a review and a first impressions if you want to check that out. It was really fun to play with, and I had my hesitations about it. I bought it for a very specific reason that, let's be honest, I haven't really used it for. It actually just became a journal, like just a fun little art journal that I've been really taken with, and for such bizarre reason too, because there's In my eyes, it has a problem with ghosting. I can always see what's on the paper behind it, but it's led me to problem solve in ways that has reminded me of how I used to journal. So like painting whole pages and doing lots of background, and even getting the foam stamps into the journal as well was just like, I kind of felt like I was revisiting some of those art journaling roots a couple of years ago, right? The roots that run so far deep a couple of years. Let's be real, I started in 2015. So I was revisiting some of that, and I don't know, I just really enjoyed the process. But I think enjoying more than anything the process and the result was the fact that I was creating without filming. There's something about the journal that, I don't know, it feels extra special because none of it has been created on camera. Like, none of it. I think we did the testing, the impressions, but nothing in that journal was created on camera. It was all just me playing in there. It just feels kind of like a special journal that's just for me, that I get to give you glimpses of every now and again. Not that the other ones feel tainted, but let's be honest. when you start to share them all, and when you start to give everyone a peek inside, and when you start to they don't become less special, but they suddenly become public, if that makes sense. And not in the sense that it's a problem. It's not, public's not even a good word. They become what I feel is like, not even sharing them. Wow, I'm on such a... Let me rephrase all of this. When you create on camera in a journal, suddenly, to me, it feels demonstrative. It feels like it's a work tool. It kind of feels like it's, I guess the difference between having like a school sketch, like a sketchbook for art class at school, and having a personal one that you use at home, like, your teen diary. I think that's maybe where I'm trying to go with it. It's not that it feels any less special, but it kind of takes on a different feeling to me, where I think this is more, there's work in here now. This isn't just personal. This isn't just playtime. This was me demonstrating this. This was an example of that. I can share it to Instagram after the fact, and that doesn't really bother me. I love sharing. I love letting people see inside. Obviously, no one gets to see inside my personal journal that I just write in, because that would just, truly end it all. The one journal to rule them all. Like, there's so many things in there that we just can't go into. But the actually, like, demonstrating in a journal, I think it becomes more work feeling to me. And it's been a long time since I've had a specific journal that was just personal, and that I didn't demonstrate in, that I was just creating, kind of selfishly, and where it was just for me. So I can always revisit the ideas, and I can always do a tutorial about them. Actually, one of the pages in there is a MERMAY piece, and one of the other pages in there became the pencils and stencils tutorial. So I can definitely do that, but at least when I'm showing that, or when I'm making that a tutorial, it's not in that journal. Do you know what this maybe sounds so dumb for you, and I don't expect you to understand it, but perhaps if you are a content creator, let me know your thoughts. If you're someone that does a lot of YouTube videos, does a lot of demos, does a lot of, teaching, is there a difference to you for the journals that you demonstrate with, and the journals that you keep just for yourself? Do you even have that? Because to be honest, I wasn't even thinking that was something I needed until I kind of thought today, this is something I need, like this journal that doesn't get worked in on camera. Now watch me go and work on that on camera. I feel like that's literally the next thing I'm about to go and do, but I do want to try and keep an effort. I want to make an effort to keep that one just to myself. I know we did the review and the first impressions. I know we swatched out all the mixed media goodness on the pages, but I do just want to keep that one for me and see if it does truly make a difference in how I feel about it once it's complete. If I really feel like there's more of a personal attachment to it, or if it feels more of a, I don't know the proper word for it. I almost said work prop, but they're not props. They're still journals. They still mean a lot to me, even if I do work in them. Just something completely personal, maybe. And not in the sense that I would never share it, but that all of the work in there was that comes from a very personal place, created in solitude, without distraction, without pressure-free maybe. stress-free journal. I don't know. It's because what I'm specifically talking about is that I do feel a difference. I feel a difference when I'm creating on camera and being recorded as to when I'm creating just by myself at night, or, you know, just early in the morning, whenever I'm doing that. There's a difference. If you make videos and you've ever filmed yourself creating, you'll know that there's a different feeling about it. Your mind is not necessarily elsewhere, but it's split in its focus. But when I'm actually just creating by myself off camera, my mind is totally into what I'm doing. There's no thinking, oh, is this recording, or is that file corrupted, or how much space have I got left, or did someone just ring my phone? Like, none of that's going on. When I'm creating in this MD paper journal that I picked up, the white grid, it is just personal time for me. It is just, that's the gift. That's the gift for me. I think it is a gift to, you know, be creative. I think we've all been given the gift of creativity. Every single person. I'm not excluding anyone in that. We've all been given the gift to be creative in any different kind of way that we can. And some of us we express our creativity in art journaling. Some people do it in photography. Some people do it in dance. Some people do it in singing. Some people do it, you know, in knitting. There's billions of different ways you can be creative, but I think that a lot of us give ourselves the gift of you know, so let me just rephrase that. It is a gift, the gift of creativity. It's a gift to be able to art journal as well. Like, we can't take that for granted, that we have beautiful supplies to use, or, you know, that we even have the resources to put pens to paper, that we have beautiful homes to be in when we're doing that, or, you know, whatever our truth is, that it is a gift to be able to do something as indulgent as art journaling. So I give myself the gift of private time to do that. And I think I did try to mention this in my YouTube, Facebook, my Instagram post. It is, it's something that I don't take for granted. It's something that I don't take lightly, and that I know I'm very blessed to be able to do that. And it's something that I used to feel selfish for. I didn't think I was allowed to spend money on stickers. I didn't think I was allowed to buy a new paint. I didn't think I was, you know, obviously I wouldn't starve before I bought a new paint. I mean, possibly for washi tape, but who knows? But, you know, I don't feel guilty anymore for gifting myself the time to journal and the time to sit down and create and do art, because it is therapy for me. It is therapeutic. It is, you know, even as monotonous as some of these things could be, it brings me such a sense of peace and of calm, and it really does ground me and center me back into a place where I am better for society. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I am better when I've expressed it. Like, I don't know what it is. It's just fact, so I'm not going to argue with it, but it is a gift. It's a gift that we can do it. It's a gift that we can give to ourselves, but specifically the gift of doing it privately and off camera and without distraction. You know, I can always come back and create the content. I can create the video, I can create the tutorial. Often it's better if I come back to do it anyway, because I'll have experimented. I know what problems to fix before I start filming, or what to let you know to be aware of as you're coming up against it. I might still make mistakes as I do it, but I'm allowed to be human too. So I do find that it is super important. And so if you're looking to get into a creative industry, don't forget what you used to do before you made it a job. Don't forget what you used to do before you made it a business. I used to dance by myself out in the backyard long before I was a dancer on stage, you know, on a contract. I used to draw on pieces of paper. I used to color in books all the time with Gran. I used to, you know, make little things and put little red crystals all over shoes and pretend to be Dorothy, long before I was making video content about that kind of stuff and teaching it. So I can't forget to do that. That is something that I constantly need to feed and nourish, because otherwise, if I don't have anything, like, if I'm, what well am I pulling from? If I'm pulling from that well and I'm just giving it and giving it and giving it, but I'm not making sure that I replenish it, I'm gonna run out. I'm gonna run out of things to give. I will burn out. I will inevitably start making content that you'll notice a difference in. You'll be like, well, he used to do all of this. Like, he used to give us all these tutorials. He used to do mermaid pieces 31 days of the month. Like, he used to do Inktober. He used to do, like, projects. If I'm not filling up that well first, I can't let it overflow and give to you. So that's kind of where I'm at with this journal. I really want to make a conscious effort to keep it off camera. I know that it sucks, and I know that there would be so many times where I wish I could show you what I was doing or how something came together, but you know, I always have the opportunity to do it again. If I did it once, I can do it again. So I won't feel too guilty, but just know that as much as I can show you a sneak peek on Instagram, or I might decide to release a couple of photos from it, that journal will pretty much stay private to me until I'm ready to share from it. Because that is a gift that I'm giving myself, and I think it's inevitably only going to be beneficial for every single one of my followers, because, you know, if I'm feeling good, if I'm feeling inspired, that's what you're going to get. If I'm feeling worn out and burnt out, that's what you're going to get. So just something that I've decided to do for self-care to, I don't even see it as being selfish, to be honest. I just see it as giving myself, the selfish part of me says like, well, you just can't gift yourself all this personal time to journal. But you know what? I absolutely can, and I'm going to, and it's going to be great for everyone. There could only be positives that come from it. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to encourage you to do it as well. If there's a part of you that needs to alter how you work or to change something about it, if you feel like maybe you need to share less on Instagram so you can keep it personal, share something different. If you feel like you want to share more because, you know, your well is overflowing at this point and you've got spare to share. I'm just going to encourage you to do whatever would keep you motivated to do you, right? Someone gave me the best advice the other day. Just be you, do you, for you. It was literally what I wrote on a zine last year, and it was so nice to hear that back, and we could all deal with getting some of our own advice thrown back in our faces every now and again. So I'm going to let you take care of yourselves today, and until tomorrow, have a fantastic Mermaid Day 27. Bye.